Hey guys, it's Miss Schneeberger. Today's lesson is going to be focusing on multiplication, and we are going to be making little mini cinnamon roll bites. So some of the ingredients we're going to be using today are our pie crust, sugar and cinnamon, a little bit of butter that we're going to melt, and at the end we will be doing some milk and powdered sugar for the icing. So before we get started, we've got to wash our hands. As always, we wash our hands before we start. You want to get some soap, turn on your warm water and scrub to get all of those germs off. When you're done, you want to make sure that you dry your hands very well and you can collect your ingredients. Now that we have collected our ingredients, we want to preheat our oven. So you're going to press bake and then set to 350 degrees. Once that is preheating, you can get your pan ready. I put some parchment paper on it so that the cookies don't stick. If you don't have that, you can just spray some Pam and we are good to go. Here I have my surface ready to put the pie crust nice and flat on. It's nice and clean with some flour so that it doesn't stick to the counter. And I even put some flour on my rolling pin just so that also doesn't stick to the pie crust. So we will unroll this and place it on our surface. We are now going to use our rolling pin to roll this out nice and flat. Alrighty, now that it is flat, we are going to take a knife. With your parents' help, you can cut these edges off. Here I have 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I am going to paint it onto the pie crust. In this bowl, I combined 3 tablespoons of sugar with half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So we are going to take that and sprinkle it on our pie crust. So our pie crust is now ready to be rolled. You're gonna try and peel it up from this side and roll it all the way across. With your parents' permission, you can ask to use a little bit of a sharper knife, but I'm gonna take this and cut my roll into tiny, like centimeter wide slivers of the cinnamon roll. Okay, so on this pan, we have 6 down and 8 across. That means there are 6 rows across and 8 columns down. If we were to look at this array model to show how we would solve our multiplication, we could use the strategy of repeated addition. We could add 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. We could add 6 together 8 times. Or you could do 8 plus 8 plus 8 6 times. How many total cinnamon roll cookies do we have? Our array model is a 6 by 8. So 6 times 8 is 48. We have 48 little cookies. Okay, so they look ready to be put in the oven. We are going to carefully open this up, and then we'll set the timer to start with 10 minutes. We'll have to check to make sure that they're getting nice and golden on the top before we take them out. So 10 minutes. All right. Okay guys, so it looks like our little cinnamon rolls are done. They are nice and toasted on top. I had to add about 8 extra minutes to make sure that they were fully cooked, but everyone's oven is different. So that was a total of about 18 minutes. Now that they are done, we're gonna make sure that they cool before we put our frosting on the top. Okay, so now that our cinnamon roll bites have cooled, I took them off the pan and put them on a little bit nicer of a plate. And I just put 1/4 cup of powdered sugar in this little bowl. And I'm gonna put the littlest splash of milk to mix up for our icing. I might need to add a little more, but we will see. So I'm gonna mix it up. Looks like I need a tiny bit more milk. Oops. All right. We want it to be like a little bit like an icing. Gonna get a little bit more sugar. So I want a tiny bit thicker. All right. Now I'm gonna drizzle this on top of our cinnamon rolls. Okay guys, they turned out delicious. I've already sampled them. I hope you had fun today and that you can make these at your house with your siblings or your parents. Thanks for joining me.